So it's been a little while. I don't know how long it's been exactly. Um, Maybe 6 months. I'm not too sure. But anyways, I was thinking, and of course, per usual, I'm gonna try to keep it under 10 minutes, but I don't really have a gauge for this. Uh, I'm thinking about mentorship, and I don't know if I spoke on this already, but let me grab my microphone, see if this makes a difference. But yeah, thinking about mentorship, I think about who I used to be as a child and the person that I've turned into and the direction that I'm continuing to go. Uh, there's a lot of uncertainty uh, in terms of clarity, maybe direction. Like for the most part, I think um, everywhere that I wanted to go and everything that I wanted to do was emotional, and not just emotional, but instinctual. Like it was a result of youth. Like I've said this to a few people before. When you have a young person, someone who's just born, their interests are fueled by their stage of life, and I really don't think that that ever changes. I think somebody who's just been born, they're gonna be into shapes and bright colors and weird noises. And as you grow older, you're like 10 years old and you're gonna want to jump from trees, and it's crazy. But as you reach your late teens and your 20s, you have these ideas of becoming an adult and living a lifestyle. You try to mimic an adult, but you don't really understand what that is. And like I'm 32. Don't make sense to say, but I'm 32 years old, and when I was 21, 18, 17, 32 was grown. You were grown if you were 32, and now I feel like you're still a kid. You don't know. You only know in comparison to then. So, like older folks that come up to me, the 50 years old, 60 years old, they're like, oh, you're still a pup. So like on one hand I agree, but on the other hand it's like I'm held to these standards. I'm held to societal standards that I'm supposed to have it figured it out. And I'm not really agreeing or disagreeing. That's a whole nother conversation. But like, what the world was to me once upon a time is certainly not what the world is to me now. And it has been the guidance of other people that have really assisted me along the way. And to the extent that I've figured out what I want my life to be now, um, I've realized the mentorship and the importance of mentorship that I did not realize before. Like I said before, it was all emotional. I mean, I don't know if it's necessary to break it down, but it I sought out desire that was fueled by the stage of life. I sought out pleasure, and now I've experienced a certain amount of pleasure that after experiencing it, it's kind of like it's not the same, you know. Um, this may sound a little arrogant of me, but it's like I've met a couple of celebrities, and when I first met them, it blew my mind. I couldn't believe that the person that I used to see on TV was right in front of me. I was like, oh my goodness, this is so and so. And it created a surreal, dreamlike state. But then after a certain amount of experience, and I don't know how to articulate that. Maybe that also was another video, but I started to think that maybe um, it's not necessary. I remember I've talked to a few people and they said, "Oh, they put pants on in the morning just like me." Okay, but that's still, so and so. So they're still better than you. They're still better than me. But I think a lot of that has to do with the space that you're in your mind. It's not just that individual, but what that individual represents. Like, that individual brings with them the vibe, the aura, the knowledge that they have been where you want to be, or somewhere where you admire intellectually or emotionally. And maybe even more so than who they are as an individual, that's what you're impressed by. That's what I was impressed by. It was like, this is the guy that I've seen on the music channels at midnight on any given day, or that was playing on the radio that all my friends listen to, or this is the person that I saw on TV on that show that I used to watch on a regular basis. But anyways, I feel like that's kind of maybe off topic, but I think what if I can remember correctly, and I got about 4 minutes here, what I was trying to articulate, the message I was trying to send is like, things change as you go through the motions, and then new visions, new perspectives open up. And mentorship, if nothing else, the purpose of mentorship is to guide those without vision to the place that they need to be to reach their maximum potential, if that's possible. And I got that in many ways, for sure. And I need to recognize personally all of those who have done that for me, because to the extent that they were able to actually give me any guidance, one thing I realize now that I didn't realize before was that they themselves didn't necessarily have any guidance. And so if there was ever a time where I was not happy with what they gave me, I had to realize, like, they didn't have the guidance that they gave me. So, I've heard this saying, and I've said this before. People say, I don't ask of anybody what I can't do myself. And that sounds good on the surface, but really, like, because you can do it doesn't mean somebody else can do it. So if LeBron James is like, I'm not asking you to do anything I can't do, well, that's LeBron. So, you're special. So, so that same thing goes in terms in any aspect of life. If you can do it, it doesn't mean somebody else can do it. So if a person could mentor me and I have the nerve to be dissatisfied with the service that they have given me, I have to recognize that, they didn't even have what they gave me. So I got to be thankful for that. And what I have to do moving forward is I have to do that for others to the extent that I'm capable, and they can feel however they want to, but I have to inspire others, and I hope that I can. And I feel like when I'm dead, I don't think I'm gonna know it, but there probably won't be any greater honor than to be able to say that I helped somebody, I inspired somebody. But again, like I've said in previous videos, there's a duality within me. There's a philosopher and there's a beast. The beast is pure selfishness, not malicious necessarily, but selfish. And the philosopher is, the higher thinker. It is the owner of the dog, so to speak, the controller. But with that said, this video is at about 10 minutes. I'm going to listen to it again to make sure it made sense before I post it, because as you may or may not know, sometimes I get off track. If you made it to the end of this video, I appreciate you.